police splatter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today is Tony Harris, City Administrator for the City of Clinton, as we follow up the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting. Tony, happy July. How are you, sir?
Doing great, Seth. How are you doing this morning?
I'm all right. You recovered from the big 4th weekend. I saw you all over the place there throughout the weekend.
It was a busy weekend. Yes, I was there pretty much the entire weekend, along with the other committee members. And boy, talk about a great weekend. That was just great. It was impressive to see the community support. And lots of people reached out to me and some of the volunteers and the commissioners, and just felt that this just kind of tied our community together. And I think it did. It was great. You know, it was a lot of work that went into this. And even though we are all tired, it was a great weekend.
Yeah, it was. It very much was. And, you know, I saw several members of the 250th committee and just the gratitude that was poured out to them, I thought at least was very much deserved, and they just did a tremendous job. I think
they did a great job. And you know, just to back up a little bit, this idea was started by Mayor Michelossi last year. You know, she came to me and said, hey, we need to get a committee together and work on this. And we did. And we started working late last year, but if I'm not mistaken, we had our very first meeting on January the 5th with the entire committee. And then we met monthly for those first couple of months. And then we met, you know, twice a month. And then once we got down to the wire in June, we met every Monday. So, you know, just all of those meetings and the discussion and the work that the group did, and getting donations from the local businesses. That's another thing. The local businesses stepped up. I'm just in awe at what happened, and these businesses stepping up and contributing money to pay for all the everything was free. The bands to watch the bands, those were free. All the activities on the square, completely around the square and off the square, were free. And it was just a great weekend, and the community stepped up. These volunteers stepped up, and the businesses and the people that donated money. It was just great. It was good to see.
Yeah, I thought Chief Flowers, when he was in last week, said it best. You know, the best thing you can do for this committee and the hard work they've put into it is just come out and be a part of this. You know, because they put so much time into it. And I thought, you know, the showing for the Saturday activities, we battled some rain and some storms throughout the morning. The parade was great. The weather was great for the parade on Saturday morning. You know, and then the crowds for the concerts I thought were really strong.
Crowds were good for the concert.
Yeah. And I bet it makes those bands, like if we ever call those bands to say, hey, you want to come back and play again, I bet that makes them want to come back, because people came out and stayed around.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, exactly. You know, and again, I've mentioned it before here, we're going to vamp that up next year and hopefully have, you know, more activities on the weekends. And that could also encompass this volunteer group. We're just, you know, we had a meeting on Monday, just a debriefing meeting to go over what went well, what didn't go so well. We talked just very briefly on, you know, keeping this group together. You know, we are going to keep the volunteer group together. We're just not sure right now to what extent, you know, what are they going to help with? We didn't want to get too much into that at that meeting, but we're going to take a break for a couple of months and then have another meeting and talk where we're going to go from here and what kind of activities they're going to help with.
Those folks deserve a break.
They sure do.
They do.
They were tired after the weekend.
They were. Yep. Very good. Very good. Well, so yeah, again, you know, for at least me, the 250th folks, congratulations to them. You know, that was such a great event, and really look forward to what they've got coming up. And you know, to you and Helen, Tony, you know, you two were really the catalyst for that group getting started. You know, we were talking in the hallway before we came back to the studio this morning, you know, reminiscing, the Celebrate Clinton Association had taken up events like this in the past, but you know, a lot of those folks had aged out. You know, several have passed now, obviously, and so Clinton didn't really have a core group of people that had come together to put on an event for the community, and you and the mayor recognized that, and you put the call out to people to be a part of this, and between Jessica Allhands, Kenny Atchison, Bobby Perryman, Bob Kreitler, so many people stepped up to be a part of this. So kudos to all those people that just stepped up to serve the community in that way.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great to see those that you mentioned, and there's others that stepped up. It's great to see that. And what was really good as well, when we talked about this and the public, came to the concerts and the activities, they saw what was going on. They want to be part of it too. So we had several people show up and say, "Hey, I want to be part of this. I want to volunteer." So we had a list going there at the information tent. We had a list going for the volunteers that the people that came up and said, "Hey, I want to be part of this. How can I volunteer?" So we just we put their name on a list, and
great,
and we'll go back to that list once we know we have activities and see if they still want to volunteer. So
sure.
So that's good when you have a successful event like this and it catches on and people want to be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the whole weekend was just awesome, and the people recognize it, how awesome it was, and they want to be part of it.
Really brought the community together.
It did, and I think we needed that.
I agree. Very much so. Well, Tony Harris, Clinton City Administrator, our guest in studio for today as we follow up the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting and the 4th of July festivities over the weekend as well. Tony, I know you mentioned you've got still some concerts on the square this summer. What's on the calendar? What's going on?
Unfortunately, last month, June, we had to cancel our very first concert, the Toby Keith tribute band. That was very, very unfortunate. And I'm sorry to say that we're not able to get that rescheduled. The band is just too busy this summer, and we just can't get it rescheduled. So we'll look at them again next year, but unfortunately we can't get that one rescheduled. But we do have one that we already had scheduled on July the 24th. That's Voodoo Exiles. It's a Rolling Stone tribute band. So again, July the 24th, Mr. Lincoln Square from 7 to 10. Voodoo Exiles, Rolling Stones tribute band. They will be there, and we are working on two others that local bands. We were trying to get a Nashville act. That just didn't happen this year. We just couldn't pull it together. So I'm in contact right now with a local musician. Their group is called Boogie Republic. They're a funk pop band from the 70s to current, and we're trying to get them booked. We think we've got a date at the end of July, but we'll be keep a look at our Facebook page. We'll be announcing that, and we have another one next month in August from another local band. The thought is, since we couldn't pull a couple of these together, we would give a shout out to some of our local bands, and that's what the two that we're looking at, to give them a little bit of stage time and see who that brings in and how that goes. So,
Sure. Yeah.
So again, we're gonna, we've got just a few this year, but we're really gonna concentrate next year on trying to get more activities and bands up on the square. Just during this past weekend. And I've mentioned this before, if you just step back and look at the square, the Mr. Lincoln stage, it's underutilized, and the mayor and I talked about this. We just want to make sure that square is utilized and that the public can come together like they did over this past weekend for events up there. So,
as they say, something's better than nothing, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, there you go. Very good. But look for bigger things next year, it sounds like. So
yes.
Wonderful. Very good, Tony. I'll tell you what, Tony, I've got a minute or two here before we take to the break. And I guess let's start with this. Of course, over the 4th of July weekend, while everybody had their fun and there was a lot of good camaraderie and activity on the square, the city of Clinton lost a true tried and true community member. How about Tom Edmonds and just remembering him?
That's the city hall this week, and it's just been very sad. Just a somber mood at city hall. Tom Edmonds has been a big part of the community, and he's very, very well respected by the community and all of us. He was excited about this past weekend that we just had. Tom called me once or twice a week just so I can keep him informed on things going on. I kept him informed on what was coming up this weekend, and he was so excited about all of it. And he didn't make it to the weekend, and it's very sad. But Tom's dedication to the city of Clinton, I think most people know, goes way back. He started in 1983, served as Commissioner of Accounts and Finance from 1983 to 1999. Also served as mayor from 96 to 99 due to a resignation. Also served as mayor from 1999 to 2003. And then 2007 to present, served as Commissioner of Accounts and Finance. Just so served a lot on as mayor and commissioner for the city of Clinton, and just tremendously involved. Just a super guy, and he's going to be missed. And if we could just say a little prayer for he and his family, that it's just a huge loss to them and huge loss to the community. So remember them in your prayers.
And even as he aged, was still just sharp as a tack. He remembered everything. You know what I mean? Yeah.
He sure did. He would, if he hadn't heard from me in a few days, he'd call in and check. He knew what projects I had that I was working on. He would call and say, "Hey, what about this project? How's it going?" The demo that we were doing up off the square. He was definitely in favor of that, and he'd call and check in. I haven't heard anything, Tony. What's going on with that? So no, he was very sharp, and he knew what was going on, and Tom was very supportive. And Tom and I went way back. And as my first days working in the dispatch 911 realm, he was very supportive back then, and just a super guy. And he is definitely going to be missed by the community.
My favorite Tom Edmonds story. We were doing our candidate interviews for, we do the, when election time rolls around, we interview all the candidates, and we were, I had Tom on the show one time, and we were reminiscing about WHOW back in, his early days as a mayor and that sort of thing. And of course, folks know, probably know WHOW has not always been in as good of shape as it is now, physically or, in terms of community involvement and support. And one of the things he was talking about, he was out here, at a time when the ceiling tiles were, caving in, and they were, the barn was overrun by rodents and such. And Tom's in here in an interview with, I think maybe Bill Ward. I can't remember if that's right or not, but he was in here for an interview to follow up the council meeting the night before, and he's sitting close to where you're at, and he hears something in the ceiling tiles, and he looks up, and next thing he knows, squirrels falling out of the ceiling tiles right in the middle of the interview. And that story is never, ever going to get old for me.
Right.
And he just thought he thought that was the funnious thing ever.
Right.
So, but he had a story for everything. He just
sure did.
Knew a little bit about everything, knew a lot about a lot of things, so.
Someone mentioned last night, one of the commissioners mentioned that, if during a meeting, if someone would ask a question about something that happened years ago, he would answer that question. He knew what was going on. And if they weren't sure if that was accurate or not, they'd go back and pull records from the basement, and he was accurate. He was definitely every single time.
Yep.
He knew what was going on. He paid attention.
Yep.
And just a huge loss. This community is going to miss him. I know I'm going to miss him.
Sure.
He's definitely a great guy.
No doubt. Yep. Well, rest in peace to Tom, and best to his family. Very much so.
And now that you brought that up, the mayor and the commissioners made the decision to close City Hall. So all city offices will be closed on Friday in remembrance of Tom, so the staff can attend his services. So City Hall will be closed on Friday. Of course, the emergency services, fire department, police department will operate, but the City Hall will be closed. Street department, water department will be off too, so they can attend services. So
very good. Well, on that note, Tony, let's take a break, come back with some more. Tony Harris, city administrator, my guest in studio today. We follow up the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting. More to come on that with Tony on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Spring just has a way of putting a little more energy into everything. Brighter days, warmer air, and more reasons to get out and enjoy it. Your home should keep up with that. At Hickory Point Garden Homes, you'll have your own one-story duplex with bright open spaces, a private patio, and neighborhood walking paths just outside your door for that perfect stroll in the spring sunshine. You can spend less time managing your home and more time enjoying the warm spring days ahead. See what that feels like at Hickory Point Garden Homes in Forsyth, Illinois, and step into comfortable living for $55 and better.
Here's Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson on how he works to save you money every day.
I know the retails at the stores indicator probably better than most of the people in the stores know. I monitor this closely so customers do not have to. And then you don't have to spend $40 or $30 driving round trip at 60 cents a mile to Decatur or Lincoln or Bloomington. That's real numbers. It's 60, 70 cents a mile to drive your car.
And as Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson always says,
Hope to see you soon.
Don't let a summer sniffle turn into a summer setback. Warner Hospital's walk-in clinic has you covered. No appointment necessary. Just walk in and be seen by our caring medical team. Warner Hospital Walk-in Clinic, right here when you need us.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police splatter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, Tony Harris, Clinton City Administrator, is my guest in studio today. We follow up the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting. Tony, let's dive into talking a little bit about citywide cleanup. This is a yearly effort. What's going on here? Remind us what this is about.
This is the same that we've had the last couple of years. If you have items that you need to dispose of, some of the allowed items, doors, windows, mattresses, bed frames, furniture, carpet, wood, construction, debris, those type of things. July the 27th through September the 18th. There's only one Saturday in that period, and that's September the 12th, where the landfill's open, only on a Saturday on December the 12th. Again,
Wait, December the 12th or
I'm sorry, September the 12th.
September 12th.
Excuse
Okay,
me, not
yeah.
December. September the 12th. So
December
those-
12th is a Saturday too,
Is it?
believe it or not. Yeah.
There we go. So those vouchers can be picked up. You have to have a voucher. They can be picked up at City Hall. To pick up a voucher, you have to show some form of ID, a driver's license, an ID card with your address, just to verify that you do reside in the city of Clinton. And then you also have to show you get the voucher, and you have to show that voucher that address has to match the address at the landfill when you go to dump those items that I mentioned.
Okay.
So again, July the 27th through September the 18th, 2026. That's when the dates are to for the citywide cleanup, and you have to get the voucher at City Hall.
Okay.
So that's a good chance to get rid of some. Again, trying to get the city cleaned up, to get rid of unwanted items around.
What can they take? What can't they take?
They can take the doors, windows, mattresses, bed frames, furniture, carpet, wood debris. Not allowed. You cannot take tires, paint, batteries, appliances, yard waste, hazardous materials such as oil, gas, or e-waste, computers and TV electronics. Can't do that. Waste volume is limited to one pickup truck or 6 cubic yards of material.
Okay.
And the user must unload and dump the material into the dumpster.
Sure.
So they'll have a dumpster out there.
Okay.
So one voucher per household.
All right.
So I encourage the citizens to take this time to look around their property, try to get the property cleaned up. And again, Seth, we've been talking about this a lot over the last year and a half. We want to get the city cleaned up, and this is how the city of Clinton is going to contribute, just to help people get their items taken care of and get the property cleaned up.
How's that effort going, you think?
I think it's going good. I do. We took some heat when we worked on the ordinances to try to get some more teeth in the game to get things cleaned up last year. Took some heat on that, but overall, I think it's working. We have a long way to go, but if we can just help with things like this, and with the mayor's plan with the block by block program to kind of help with that, we've things like this kind of go slow, but over the next couple of years, we're going to be focused on that, and it's going to continue.
Sure. Tony, I know one of the things, this is the time of year we start to see the road work in the city of Clinton, oil and chip time. I know that there's a maintenance schedule ready to rock and roll for that. Tell us about this.
Yeah, that was approved last night at City Council, the summer maintenance bids through Evergreen. And basically what that is, that's the oil and chip. to take care of the roads. There's a list of 14 roads on the list, and if anybody wants to know if they're on that list, they can contact City Hall, and we can let them know. But we don't have an exact date of when that oil and chip, when that crew will show up, but it's going to be between now and August the 16th. Just pay attention to the City of Clinton Facebook page, and we'll announce that when we know they're going to roll in. And we may not know until the morning of or the day before. But as soon as we know, we will announce on our Facebook or our website when that's going to happen.
Is that something the city contracts out for?
We do.
Oh, okay. I thought you did that internally.
I think the city used to do that. I remember a little while back, the city used to do it, but no, we contract that out.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't have the personnel to do that anymore, and we contract it out. But there's, again, like 14 roads that's on the list right now, and we'll put something out on our social media and Facebook page as to when that's going to happen and the list of roads.
A quick ask of this. I don't know if you know anything. Was there a water main break in Clinton this morning?
There was. I believe that was on.
Was it on Alexander?
Alexander Street.
Yeah. Okay.
There was.
I noticed in the shower my water pressure got real light, real fast. So
very early. I got a phone call at 5 o'clock in the morning letting me know about it. But yeah, it was definitely a water main break.
Gotcha.
That's typical with these old water mains, and that's something that we're looking at too at some point, trying to get these things replaced.
Sure. So. All right, Tony. Well, on that note, I'm unfortunately out of time. I wish we could get more into the TIF. I know there was some TIF movement last night. Maybe we can do that later in July.
Sure.
You mentioned following the Facebook page for concerts. How do folks follow the City of Clinton on Facebook?
Just search the City of Clinton, Illinois on Facebook, and you should find it there. Or if anyone has any questions, they can always contact me at City Hall.
Very good.
And I will answer those questions.
Tony, always good to see you, my friend. Thanks for making time for us. Yep, Tony Harris, Clinton City Administrator, my guest in studio today, following up the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting. Network News on the way.